Hey, my name is Samuel, and today we're going to be listening to Paranoid Android by Radiohead. I don't really know what to call this, a review, a reaction. I've heard this song a million times before. It's one of my favorite songs, and I kind of want to talk about it. I want to listen to it, talk about it, give my thoughts on it. It's one of my favorite songs right now, and I don't know if I'm trying to do something different. I think I'm just doing this because I have more to say about this than I do like something I haven't heard before. So I'm gonna have like at least better words to say. I found quite a bit to say for the other ones anyways. I'm rambling a bit too much. Also, I got a pop filter and like an actual mic stand before I literally just had it taped to a box to make it upwards because I didn't have a mic stand. Now I have one. I don't know if I'm going to keep the pop filter though. I don't know how much of a difference it makes. I did a little test and there doesn't seem to be much of a difference between the pop filter and no pop filter. And it is kind of just this big old fucking circle right here. And I don't know if I want to keep it or not, but we'll have it for this video because why not? But yeah, let's just get right into it. We're going to listen to this song. I'm going to give some thoughts. One I've heard before, but one that I just want to talk about. So let's do it. We hit and play. That's not the beginning of the song. Alright, let's just hit play and see what happens. Who knows? I'm reluctant to even hit pause on this. I just want to let it keep playing and enjoy it for what it is. But I guess I'll say a couple of thoughts here. 1, it's good. 2, I might have already said this, but it's good. 3, I guess I'll just get this out of the way. I looked up what the meaning of the lyrics of the song mean, and it was actually written by Tom York when he was like in a busy bar and he was quite annoyed by all the loudness and fucking chaos going on around him. And it's so interesting how he was able to take such a specific setting and such a specific moment concept. What the hell is the word I'm looking for? Setting? Instance? Moment? Fucking, it's one of the words of the English language. And how he's able to generalize that specific scenario and turn it into this really broad, really not necessarily vague, but definitely more vague than like a busy, chaotic bar, and into something that you can generalize to something different, something that is almost completely detached from where the inspiration for the song even came from. It makes me wonder how many times it was rewritten, or how many times, like, what the writing process is like for Tom York to be able to get it to this point and make the lyrics what it is now. It's interesting to think about, and I don't really think it's something that I'm ever going to know unless there's some interview out there on YouTube or where else where he explains his writing process for this song specifically. Not impossible, but I don't know if it exists. But anyways, we're going to continue with the song. We got quite a bit left of it. Hate to pause it again so soon, but it took me a while. In fact, I had to look it up and see the lyrics first to be able to notice this, or at least be able to tell what it's saying. But if you hear faintly, kind of in the background, or just a bit quieter than all the other instruments, you hear that robotic voice that you hear in Fitter Happier that I didn't really know what it was saying at first and didn't even notice there was a voice there until like quite deep into my listening of this song, like quite a few times. And it's saying, I may be paranoid, but I am not an android. Don't really know what to make of that exactly. I mean, there you go, paranoid and android. Those are the fucking words that are in the title of the song. But I don't really exactly know what to make of the meaning of that. I mean, there is a bit of irony there, especially since the robotic voice, which is kind of supposed to be the android, I'm guessing at least is saying that he's not an android. Maybe it's denial, something like that. I mean, it's an androtic voice. I don't know if androtic is a word, but you know what it is that I'm trying to say. But I did find it interesting when I finally found out what that robotic voice was saying in the song, saying fucking, I may be paranoid, but I'm not an android. Hard to hear, and if you didn't know that, fucking, I'm happy to have done something for you. When I am king, you will be fast against the wall. With your opinion, which is of no consequence at all. What's I gotta say, one thing that I really like about Radiohead is the way that Tom York uses his vocals and kind of like extends the lyrics and makes them like longer. Like he did at the beginning of the song where he's saying, please could you stop the noise, I'm trying to get some rest from all the unborn chicken voices in my head. You could say that rather quickly, but the total amount of time that it takes him to say that, singing it, is quite long for as little of the words that he says, and I actually like that quite a bit because it makes the vocals and the lyrics a lot more melodic in my opinion, and almost turns it into an instrumental itself. I know that vocals are like part of the instruments of the song, but it almost kind of makes it fit in more, if that makes sense. I mean, good vocals are supposed to fit in with the fucking instrumentals anyways, but the way that Tom York does it, it's almost like it's seamless. It like it flows in. It's like it's perfectly within it. It's not like it's a different, more significant part of the song. It's like it is the song itself. It's like it's part of the song, if that makes sense. And he does that quite a bit in a lot of different Radiohead songs, and it's one thing that I honestly appreciate quite a bit. I feel like it might turn some people off. I don't really know if it would, but I feel like it might. But for me, it's actually something I really like, especially since Tom York has such a nice and listenable voice. Before I looked up the lyrics, I always thought he was saying, that shirt makes you look pretty ugly. Now I know it's Ambition, but I always thought it was that shirt. I got like 2 or 3 things to say right there. One, I really like how the guitar just like, whew, just like comes in and like almost fucking shocks you, sends like a shock down your spine. It's super effective in my opinion, and it really like grabs your attention, and it's almost like grabbing you by the shirt and asking you, why don't you remember my name? I fucking love that. And then when he holds that, and just like I was talking about, the way that he kind of extends his lyrics, the way that he extends his vocals and makes it a lot more melodic. Like he goes that, and then he like brings it up an octave, and fucking just, wow, I love this shit. I fucking love this song. It's incredible to me. 3. I remember what else I was gonna say. How during this part here, I'll back up a little bit. That part right there, I I don't exactly know how to articulate it, how to put it into words, but it's almost kind of like the song keeps you there, if that makes sense. That it's almost like it kind of, the tension is just building at that part, and it doesn't really release for quite a while. It really keeps it in that tension, almost like he's kind of keeping you in that fucking stranglehold, like I was saying earlier. I was like, why don't you fucking know my name? And it's like just the instrumental just kind of keeps you there, shaking you, and that tension just builds and builds. It gets across what it wants to do perfectly, in my opinion. I think it's fantastic. I love it when songs do that, especially when they do it well. Like, honestly, I mean, any example that I can think of, in my opinion, does it well. When songs kind of shift from like one song to another song within the same song, just like how this one does, and it's like a continuation of the story, and it kind of just moves into this part. At least for me, how it feels is that he's kind of like, Tom York is in that bar, and he's feeling super frustrated, and he's like pissed with everyone, or at least pissed. It almost kind of sounds like he's pissed with one specific person, but let's just assume he's pissed with everyone there. And then it's like he almost kind of goes off into his own head, into his own thoughts, and is like not really in the bar anymore. He's kind of just in his own world at this point. At least that's what it seems like to me, and I think it's done so well, and I love it. It's not a trope that I hear much in songs. I'm sure it happens all the time in certain genres or with certain artists, but the only examples that I could think of would be Black Star by David Bowie, Ode to Sleep by 21 Pilots, and fucking, what was the third one? Oh, Station to Station, also by David Bowie, but now there's a fourth one, and then Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen. Those are the only examples that I can think of that use that trope, and each one of them, in my opinion, does it so well, and I wish it was used more, and this song right here uses it and does it great, kind of almost shifting from, like I said, being in the bar to being in his own head. Another lyrical difference I heard here, I thought he was saying Rain Man, or at least sometimes I thought he switched between like Rain Down and Rain Man. Nah, he's just saying Rain Down the whole time. I don't know who the fuck the Rain Man would be. I might be alone in thinking this, but I feel like a lot of people might get bored at this part of the song because of, I guess, how extended it is, how he just says rain down, come on, rain on me from a great height. He says it like 3 different times, and I feel like that might be a turnoff for a handful of people, but for me, I feel like it's a lot more atmospheric than it is lyrical, if that makes sense. At least that's how it feels for me. I mean, of course you get what it is he's trying to say right away in the lyrics, but then he just... It's like the way that it's extended adds to the lyrics more, as it shows the importance that Tom York wants to place upon these lyrics. And while I don't exactly know what it is that he's saying here, rain down, come on, rain down on me. I know another song that I listen to, Implicit Demand for Proof, uses rain down as to be like, come on, destroy me, rain down on me, like, kill me. But I don't exactly know. I don't exactly think that that's what Tom York is saying here. Or another example would be in one of the songs off Kids See Ghosts, where Kanye says, I want all the rain, I want all the shame. And so I guess it's just kind of like, fucking, it could be negative shit towards Tom York. I mean, yes, what that negative shit is, but negative shit towards him. Anyways, that's a bit of a tangent. I just think that the way that it is extended and repeated is super effective and really atmospheric and really gets you into the part of the song and really does a good job shifting from that high energy, angry first half of the song to this more mellow, almost introspective second half of the song. Let's continue. Let's stop it before it picks up again. One thing that's super interesting about this part, I just watched a video by Dave Bennett Piano explaining how this is 2 choruses layered on top of each other. The rain down, come on, rain down on me, and that's it, sir, you're leaving, the crackle of pigskin, are 2 different choruses layered on top of each other that mesh with each other perfectly, and amongst the different listens of the song, you can attach to one chorus or the other chorus, which, funnily enough, before I saw that video by Dave Bennett Piano on this song, I would do exactly that. I would switch from one chorus to another chorus sometimes in the same listen, or I would just do one chorus for the entire listen and kind of just hum it or sing it to myself and do a different chorus the other time. And I think it's super interesting because it's not something that I can even think of another example of. I'm sure that it's in other songs that I listen to and I just haven't thought about it, but just knowing that about this song makes it way more interesting to me because it's not something you hear often, definitely not. But let's keep going. Let's see what this last little bit has for us. Oh my gosh. That last little bit of the song is so interesting and so fun to listen to. just the way that, like, it does, like I said, that it did earlier in the song, how it just kind of snaps you right back into the song and just is like, whew, it does not let you lose your attention to the song. It's so jerking, and it still gets me. It still affects me even after listening to the song hundreds of times at this point. And one thing I find super interesting about this last part is the, like, I don't even know exactly how to describe it. I guess like hissing, the that goes on. And there's something about that I like so much, and I don't even know exactly what it is. I think it's just that it does what it is that it needs to do, that it kind of expresses that anger, almost in a sort of vocal sense, but that's not really something you would hear people do. But it is a sound that you can, or at least I can see myself making, and it expresses that anger quite effectively, and it's super, super interesting. This last little bit of the song is probably my favorite part of the song, and a big part of the reason why is because of that hissing, that goes on, and it's just so interesting to me. Yeah, I definitely like doing that more than reacting to songs that I haven't heard yet. I had so much more to say, and I feel like it was a lot more interesting as well. Overall, amongst many different listens and listening to it one more time, adding one more number, taking that number up by one, I would have to give this song close to a 10, if like strong 9 to a 10, probably a 10, honestly. It's something that still grips me even after hearing it so many times, and it's so interesting what Tom York was able to do with the being in a bar and turning it into something that's a lot more applicable to a lot of other different scenarios, if that makes sense to you. Like I said in my previous video, I like to morph these lyrics into meaning what it is that I want it to mean for myself. And while I won't necessarily dive into that because that's like a personal thing, that's for me, but I will still talk about the meaning of the lyrics objectively, in like an objective sense. It's still just so interesting how Radiohead is able to do that. It's something that they seem to be very, very good at doing. And I can't wait to revisit the song tomorrow. I'm going to be listening to it tomorrow, most definitely. And I hope that I was able to provide some interesting insight into it and some interesting commentary coming from somebody that has heard it a lot before. And at least in my opinion, I think this video is a little bit better than just my first reactions to something. I kind of like this format of listening to a song that I've already heard. I'm not necessarily going to quit doing first reactions to songs, but I do like this format a lot better in my opinion. Alright, that's going to do it. Bye-bye.